Today we are going to discuss about the generation of single sideband signal. There are different methods used for the generation of single sideband signal, and here we are going to consider three of such methods. First one is by using an analog multiplier, the second one is by using the filter method, and the third one is by using the phase shift method. Let's first consider the case of generation of SSB signal by using analog multiplier. This is the arrangement for the generation of single sideband signal by using analog multiplier. Here we are using an analog multiplier and a band pass filter. We know if we apply VM and VC signals to the analog multiplier, then at the output of the analog multiplier we will get the double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Okay, so at the output of this analog multiplier we have that lower sideband and upper sideband components. Okay, then we will remove one of the sideband by using this band pass filter. Okay, because we know in single sideband transmission we are transmitting only one of the sidebands. Okay, so by using this band pass filter we will remove one of the sideband from the output of this analog multiplier. Okay, so at the output of this band pass filter we have either that upper sideband component or that lower sideband component. Depending upon the cutoff frequency of the band pass filter, it will remove either the upper sideband component or the lower sideband component from the output of this analog multiplier. Okay, so at the output of the analog multiplier we have that double sideband suppressed carrier signal, and that consists of both the upper sideband and lower sideband components, and from that double sideband suppressed carrier signal one of the sideband is removed by using this band pass filter, and hence at the output of this band pass filter we have only one sideband. If the upper sideband is removed by using this band pass filter, then at the output of this band pass filter we have only the lower sideband component. And if the lower sideband component is removed by using the band pass filter, here we have that upper sideband component only. Okay, now let's try to understand the working with the help of equations. In our previous class we have already discussed the case of analog multiplier, and we know if VM and VC are the inputs to the analog multiplier, then at the output of the analog multiplier we have VM into VC. Then we know VM is VM sin omega mt and VC is VC sin omega ct. Okay, and we have already calculated the value for this, and this one is equal to MVC by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t minus MVC by 2 into cos omega c plus omega m into t. We have derived this equation in our class for the generation of AM signal, and if you have any doubt you can go through that video class for the clarification. So at the output of the analog multiplier we have this double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Then we know in single sideband technique we will transmit only one of the sidebands and we will suppress the other sideband. So for that purpose we are using this band pass filter. So depending upon the cutoff frequency of this band pass filter, it will suppress either the upper sideband component or the lower sideband component. We have already discussed the block diagram for the generation of single sideband signal in our previous class for the single sideband modulation technique, and if you have any doubt in this case you can go through that video class for the clarification. So here this DSB SC signal is the output of this analog multiplier, and if the lower sideband is passed out by the band pass filter, then the output of the band pass filter will be V is equal to MVC by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t. So the band pass filter will pass this lower sideband and it will suppress this upper sideband. And alternatively, if the upper sideband is passed out, then the output of the band pass filter will be V is equal to minus MVC by 2 cos omega c plus omega m into t. So in this case we are suppressing the lower sideband component and we will pass only the upper sideband component. So depending upon the cutoff frequencies of the band pass filter we will get either this one or this one at the output of this band pass filter. So here we have only one sideband and that corresponds to our single sideband signal. Thus by using this analog multiplier band pass filter combination we can generate our required single sideband signal. Let's now consider the second method for the generation of single sideband signal, which is by using the filter method. And here we can see we are using a balanced modulator and a sideband suppression filter for the generation of single sideband signal. We know for a balanced modulator, if Vm and Vc are the inputs, then at the output of the balanced modulator we will get the double sideband suppressed carrier signal. So at the output of this balanced modulator we have that upper sideband component and lower sideband component, and from that one of the sidebands is suppressed by using this sideband suppression filter. And this sideband suppression filter is actually a band pass filter, and depending upon the cutoff frequencies of this band pass filter, it will remove the unwanted sideband from the double sideband suppressed carrier signal here. Hence at the output of this sideband suppression filter we have only one of the sidebands. If this sideband suppression filter is suppressing the lower sideband component, then here we will get the upper sideband component only. And if this sideband suppression filter is suppressing the upper sideband component, then here we have only the lower sideband component. So this balanced modulator will generate the double sideband suppressed carrier signal, and from that double sideband suppressed carrier signal, one of the sidebands is suppressed by using this sideband suppression filter, and hence at the output here we have only one of the sidebands, and hence by using this arrangement we can generate a single sideband signal. Now when we compare this one with our previous method, this one is exactly similar to that one, because in our analog multiplier method here we used an analog multiplier and here we used a band pass filter. And we know the balanced modulator and analog multiplier outputs are almost similar, because if we apply Vm and Vc signals as the input to the analog multiplier, at the output of the analog multiplier we will get the double sideband suppressed carrier signal. And here also if we apply Vm and Vc to the input of balanced modulator, at the output of the balanced modulator we have that same double sideband suppressed carrier signal. The difference will be only in coefficients, but in both cases we are getting the same double sideband suppressed carrier signal at the output. So we can use either the analog multiplier or the balanced modulator for the generation of double sideband suppressed carrier signal. If we apply the same inputs, the same Vm and Vc as the inputs to the analog multiplier or the balanced modulator, then at the output we will get the same double sideband suppressed carrier signal. And then by using the band pass filter we can remove the unwanted sideband to obtain the required sideband at the output. So this filter method is almost same as that of our previous case. Here the only difference is that in the analog multiplier method we are using an analog multiplier here, and in the case of this filter method we are using a balanced modulator here. Let's now try to understand the working of this case by using the equations. We know the output of the balanced modulator is V1 is equal to 2q cos omega c minus omega m into t minus 2q cos omega c plus omega m into t. We have already derived this equation in our previous class, and if you have any doubt you can go through that video class for the clarification. So if Vm and Vc are the inputs to the balanced modulator, at the output of the balanced modulator we will get this double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Then as I said earlier, this sideband suppression filter is basically a band pass filter that has a flat band pass and extremely high attenuation outside the band pass. And then depending upon the cutoff frequency values we can represent the output of the filter as V is equal to 2q cos omega c minus omega m into t, or V is equal to minus 2q cos omega c plus omega m into t. If the cutoff frequencies of the band pass filter is such that it is removing this lower sideband component, then at the output of the filter we have this upper sideband component only. So the output will be like this. And if the cutoff frequencies of the band pass filter is such that if it is removing this upper sideband component, then at the output of the filter we have this lower sideband component only. So the output will be like this. So here we can see at the output of the filter we have only one sideband component. So in this way we can generate the single sideband signal by using this filter method. Let's now consider the generation of single sideband signal by using the phase shift method. this is the arrangement for the generation of SSB signal by using the phase shift method. Here we are using two balanced modulators. Okay, when we consider this balanced modulator M1, the inputs to this balanced modulator are the in-phase message signal Vm and the in-phase carrier signal Vc. And when we consider the balanced modulator M2, the inputs to this balanced modulator are the 90-degree phase shifted version of Vm and the 90-degree phase shifted version of Vc. Then we know the balanced modulator produce the double sideband suppressed carrier signal at the output. Okay, so here we will get a double sideband suppressed carrier signal by using Vm and Vc, and here also we will get the double sideband suppressed carrier signal by using the 90-degree phase shifted versions of Vm and Vc. Then when we consider the DSB-SC signals at the outputs of M1 and M2, one of the sidebands, namely the lower sideband, will be in phase in both the modulators, whereas the upper sideband will be out of phase. That means when we consider the output of M1, here we have an upper sideband component and lower sideband component, and when we consider the balanced modulator M2, here also we have one upper sideband component and lower sideband component. And when we compare that outputs, the lower sideband in V1 and the lower sideband in V2 will be in phase, and the upper sideband in V1 and the upper sideband in V2 will be out of phase. Okay, then we are applying the outputs of M1 and M2 to this adder section, and depending upon this sign selection at the output of the adder, we will get either V1 plus V2 or V1 minus V2. Thus, by suitable polarity for M2 output and adding with M1 output results in suppressing one of the sidebands. So at the output here we will get only one sideband. Let's try to understand that with the help of equations. Okay, we know the message signal Vm is equal to Vm sin omega mt, and the carrier signal Vc is equal to Vc sin omega ct. And let the 90-degree phase shifted versions of them are Vm cos omega mt and Vc cos omega ct. Okay, so here we are considering that the 90-degree phase shifted version of this Vm sin omega mt is Vm cos omega mt, and the 90-degree phase shifted version of Vc sin omega ct is Vc cos omega ct. So when we consider this balanced modulator M1, the inputs to this balanced modulator are Vm sin omega mt and Vc sin omega ct. Okay, then as I mentioned earlier, the output of the balanced modulator is almost similar to that of an analog multiplier. And in the case of an analog multiplier and also in the case of the balanced modulator, we are getting the double sideband suppressed carrier signal at the output. Okay, so for simplicity here I am considering that the output of the balanced modulator is exactly same as that of this input into this input. Okay, so the output of this balanced modulator M1 is equal to Vm sin omega mt into Vc sin omega ct. Okay, so this V1 is equal to Vm sin omega mt into Vc sin omega ct, and that is equal to Vm Vc sin omega mt into sin omega ct. Then we know sin omega mt into sin omega ct is equal to cos omega c minus omega m into t minus cos omega c plus omega m into t divided by 2. So by substituting this one here, I will get V1 is equal to Vm Vc divided by 2 into cos omega c minus omega m into t minus cos omega c plus omega m into t. So this is the output of the balanced modulator M1. Now similarly we can calculate the output of the balanced modulator M2. When we consider this balanced modulator M2, its inputs are the 90-degree phase shifted version of Vm and the 90-degree phase shifted version of Vc. And here we are considering that 90-degree phase shifted versions are Vm cos omega mt and Vc cos omega ct. So the output of balanced modulator V2 is equal to Vm cos omega mt into Vc cos omega ct. Okay, and that is equal to Vm Vc cos omega mt into cos omega ct, and we know cos omega mt into cos omega ct is equal to cos omega c minus omega m into t plus cos omega c plus omega m into t divided by 2. So by substituting this one here, we will get V2 is equal to Vm Vc divided by 2 into cos omega c minus omega m into t plus cos omega c plus omega m into t. So this V2 is the output of balanced modulator M2. Okay, so here we will get that output. Okay, then when we compare that V1 and V2 outputs, we can see that V1 output consists of this positive lower sideband component and negative upper sideband component. And when we consider the output of V2, it consists of positive lower sideband component and positive upper sideband component. So here when we compare the outputs of M1 and M2, we can see that the lower sideband components are in phase and the upper sideband components are 180 degree out of phase. Okay, in both cases actually we are getting the double sideband suppressed carrier signal at the output, but in the case of M2 both are positive, and in the case of M1 lower sideband is positive and upper sideband is negative. Now we are applying that V1 and V2 to the adder section, and the output of the adder is V1 plus or minus V2. Okay, so at the output of the adder we will get V is equal to V1 plus or minus V2. Then in one case we have V is equal to V1 plus V2. Okay, so that is equal to Vm Vc by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t minus cos omega c plus omega m into t plus Vm Vc by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t plus cos omega c plus omega m into t. This one is our V1 and this one is our V2. Okay, so here these terms will cancel each other and we will get 2 times Vm Vc by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t, and that is equal to Vm Vc cos omega c minus omega m into t. Okay, so if V is equal to V1 plus V2, we get the output as Vm Vc cos omega c minus omega m into t. That means at the output we are getting that lower sideband component and we suppressed that upper sideband component here. Then in other case we have V is equal to V1 minus V2. Our V1 is this one and V2 is this one. Okay, so this one is equal to Vm Vc by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t minus cos omega c plus omega m into t minus of Vm Vc by 2 into cos omega c minus omega m into t plus cos omega c plus omega m into t. So here this lower sideband components gets cancelled each other, and at the output we will get 2 times of minus Vm Vc by 2 cos omega c plus omega m into t. Okay, and that is equal to minus Vm Vc cos omega c plus omega m into t. So here at the output we have this upper sideband component and the lower sideband component is suppressed here. Okay, so if the output of the adder is V1 plus V2, at the output we have this lower sideband component, and if the output of the adder is V1 minus V2, at the output we have this upper sideband component only. Okay, so here the upper sideband component is suppressed and here the lower sideband component is suppressed. Thus by using this arrangement at the output we will get only one of the sidebands, and that corresponds to our single sideband signal. Okay, then here we can connect this carrier source here instead of here. Okay, if we are connecting the carrier source here, then the inputs to this balance modulator M1 will be Vm and the 90 degree phase shifted version of Vc, and the inputs to this balance modulator M2 will be Vc and the 90 degree phase shifted version of Vm, and in that case we will get the output of the adder in terms of sine. Okay, that means the output of the adder will be sine omega c minus omega m into t term or sine omega c plus omega m into t term. Okay, and that is not a problem here. In one case we are getting the lower sideband and upper sideband components in terms of cosine, and in the other case we are getting the equations in the terms of sine. If you are connecting the carrier source here, we are getting that lower sideband and upper sideband components in terms of cos, and if we are connecting this carrier source here, then we will get lower sideband and upper sideband components in terms of sine. And if it is either in sine term or cos term, that is not a problem here, because we can represent that upper sideband or lower sideband component either by using sine or cos. The only thing that we need to take care is the frequency of the lower sideband should be omega c minus omega m, and the frequency of the upper sideband should be omega c plus omega m. So in some textbooks this carrier source is connected here instead of here, so don't get confused about its position, both are correct.